Good morning, everybody. It's Lynn, the Leather Bag Lady. How are you all today on this kind of gloomy, warmer than it should be Monday morning? It is really quite damp. It's been a rainy weekend. We, this time last year, spent the weekend at the cabin in the woods, and we got about a foot of snow. So we were reminiscing this weekend about how fantastic that weekend was, but at how different the weather is. Anyway, Leather Bag Lady weather report. It's kind of a crummy day, but let's get to today's item. So firstly, I pulled two items and both of them were damaged. So the first one was painful. It is an Armani Exchange suede bag, but the zipper is toast. I didn't notice it. I didn't. Anyway, the suede is a little bit more worn than I would like, and I paid up for it too, so I need to get myself back, not getting so excited about finding something and get excited about finding quality something. And then I found another nice little bag, and one of the feet on the bottom is missing. So not that that's a huge deal, but I would like to try and find something to put there just because it looks a bit silly. So I was like, okay, I'm starting to struggle for items. And then I remembered that I uncovered a little bag of business folders, document folders, and I love those. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to list one of those. So here we are. This is today's item. It's an under the arm document holder. So we have a zipper pocket on the back, which goes to about here. We have a zipper pocket inside. Now the pictures on my in my Etsy shop, this looks quite pale. It is actually quite a deep kind of caramel color, but really cool. I love this stuff. There's, I don't know what this is. It's two horses' heads, and it's Linnae Calda or something. I'm going to suggest there's no tab in it, no maker's brand other than that. It's obviously a made in Italy item, but look at how rich. Now I've moisturized it. The edges are just a little lighter than the main body of this item. There's no designated gusset, but you do have that little kind of platform on either end. So it will give kind of it will give you a little bit of width. And there's your side gusset. It's a great, one, I love business bags. I just do. And two, leather vintage business holder. Like, can you imagine walking into a meeting with, it's just me. I just love all this stuff. And there's a few other items over here that, yeah, maybe it's their day. So that is today's beautiful, beautiful piece. So we did absolutely nothing this weekend. And I mean, I'm always in the same clothes, aren't I? I do have clothes. I do laundry. It's just, if I get a little chilly, I just throw this on. So it's not really something I well, I guess I kind of do live in it. Oh my goodness me, what a different life I lead these days. But it's been kind of a crummy weekend, as I said. It has rained pretty well all weekend. We did have a bit of a beauty day for a while on Saturday, but we just didn't do anything. Pius he had a rough day yesterday. He actually had to put the sling back on for a few hours. His shoulder was really hurting him. He had a physio appointment, I think it was last week, And the guy went a little Arnold Schwarzenegger on him, I think. And he may have, Pius thinks he might have done a little something something to his arm. So I was kicked out of the gravity chair last night, and I did not have a good sleep at all. The gravity chair is something that I joked about being a better solution for me for sleep, and I think it actually is. My hand and my arm to about here go ever so slightly numb when I'm lying in the bed. In the gravity chair, not at all. So I was saying to Pius last night, I said, maybe you get to a certain age and laying flat isn't a good idea. Heartburn, numbness, sore joints. I don't know. I think there could be an argument. And Pius is like, I'm not spending the rest of my life sleeping in a gravity chair. And I was kind of like, oh, I could manage it quite easily, I think. I just find it really comfortable. Pius put himself back in it last night, and I was like, if it's not working out for you, just let me know and I'll swap back with you. And it only works because it's in a confined space. So we've literally, I mean, the room is not big at all. Was it like 10 by 12 or something? It's a very small room. So we moved the bed over a little bit and put the gravity chair down one side. So the wall is immediately there and the bed is immediately there. So you can put pillows all down the sides, and 9 times out of 10, they will stay there. I mean, if you didn't have that enclosed kind of side gig going on, the pillows would just fall on the floor. And then it would be uncomfortable because it's a metal chair and it's got huge arms, and your body pushing up against that. Like, I've got some bruises on the side of my legs, but I took care of it. I put pillows and blankets and whatever, and we joked about it. We joked about getting rid of the bed and just having 2 gravity chairs with a little side table in between, a little nightstand in between. Oh, but anyway, so Pius had a horrendous night's sleep Saturday night. So he said he slept okay. Looks like I won't be getting my gravity chair back tonight either. But oh well. But we had just a weekend at home, with the great intentions of possibly putting up some Christmas decorations. Yeah, no, we didn't get to it either. It's just not worth it. My brain is still spinning with my my pricing situation. I think I have figured it out. I am still working on finalizing it. I think the consensus is, and thank you, Cynthia, for your beautiful response to my plea for some advice on what to do about shipping. So I think what I'm going to do, and I'm going to gradually adopt this into my Etsy store at the moment as well, it's going to be free shipping over a certain amount of money. Now, what that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to start selling. Like, for example, here's a couple of vintage belts. Now, these belts are for my nephew's girlfriends. But, I mean, look at how beautiful they are. This one is from... This one doesn't have a maker. But look at the leather wrapped buckle. Like, how awesome is that? And this one is super cool because it's got some colors. And this one is from Lisa Rogers, whoever she is. But I have so many of these, and I've never listed them because on their own, they're not, like, it's going to cost me probably $15 plus to ship a belt. Because what seems to happen with shipping is the shipping, in my experience, the shipping seems to be a fairly consistent price up to a certain weight, which for the bags, I guess maybe is not a bad thing, because I've been quite surprised in the past with how reasonably priced some of the bags that I thought, oh shit, that's going to cost me a fortune. But then you get little items like that, and it's like, good Lord, like it's cost me $14 to send this little belt. So what I'm hoping is that I can start to list these lesser dollar amount items, and that will be a twofold win, I think. One, it will give people a cheaper option to combine with a bag to reach that free shipping threshold, or they can buy a smaller item and they're going to pay shipping if it's under that threshold. Now, I do have to decide, which I might actually just start doing shipping labels from Etsy and just see how it goes, because they are supposed to be quite decently discounted. And I think that might be maybe a middle ground between going to a third-party shipper and sticking with my postal outlet. I love my postal outlet. I love my girl Wendy, and I enjoy how quickly I can get to the post office. I mean, at a push, I can walk there. I don't want to have to drive up the mountain, drop a whole bunch of parcels off. If I'm doing labels, it's literally, I'm just dropping it at the postal counter. There's days where Wendy's not there, it's closed, she has a really hard time getting staff because the pay is not great. And it is a very, very big job to not be paid well. The amount of stuff you've got to remember. She talked to me about it. I thought about it for 5 minutes a couple of years ago, and it was like, hell no, not for minimum wage. Sorry. It's just, maybe that's bad attitude, but no, it wasn't for me. So I'm going to start to list the belts, and let me just see if I've got, oh yes. Now, I looked for this little vintage wallet a while ago, and I couldn't find it because it was in here on a top shelf up there. But oh my God, the color on this is so awesome. So for me to list this, Tilly, made in Canada, you've got a spot for one card. And then you've got this little, remember these? So this is not something that I could list for a huge amount of money. Again, dealing with the shipping. But if I put these on, and maybe somebody wants to buy a bag, a belt, and a wallet or whatever, and make use of the payment plan, which I just found out about, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. It helps me list some of the stuff that is just sitting around. I mean, I've got this. I've got this beautiful little red guy, another Tilly. What else have I got that's vintage? Oh, these are fabulous. They're like passport holders, and these are called jacket wallets. So these would go in the inside pocket of your jacket. I mean, I have got suitcases full of this stuff, and I just have never, I don't really pick it up anymore because I know, where am I going to sell it? I used to take this stuff to my shows. My shows are not going anymore. This stuff, I used to take it to Art Crawl, but you know, I want to sell the bags. I don't necessarily want to sell this little stuff. So this will allow me to put some stuff online that, you know, you can pair. You can, you know, and then eventually I'm going to start with the purse pouches, and it's a very, very big change for me to be able to list some stuff that has just been hanging around forever. You know, these beautiful tooled wallets. And I appreciate this because this doesn't have a country stamped on it, or, you know, you get those wallets from, you know, Costa Rica or whatever. So these are things that I just have just right in front of me, just right here. So, and Cynthia, thank you again. She gives me a little bit of a boost every now and again, mentioning to me that it is not the easiest thing to do this. I find it as easy can be. But we were watching this block show. I've gotten Pius kind of hooked on this Australian renovating show called The Block. And we just finished it this weekend. I think it was season 12. And there's a couple on there and she hates cooking. I don't hate cooking, but I hate entertaining. I don't enjoy it. It stresses me out. It does not come easy to me. So it was kind of, we were sitting and I made a comparison because there are stories or comments made that people would rather have a limb cut off than public speak. Hold me back. I want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to all the peeps. When I was in university and we were doing presentations, which my program, there wasn't a lot of difficulty. I mean, there was a lot of memorization. The concepts were not ridiculously hard, but there was a lot of presentations, group work, that kind of thing. And I'd be sitting in the lecture hall just like, when's it my turn? When's it my turn? When's it my turn? Get off of the stage. I want my turn. So this is just so natural to me, but I do appreciate that it's not natural to everybody. So Cynthia was mentioning a couple of my reseller colleagues that she felt were not as natural on the camera as I seem to be. And I must say, Cynthia, I do agree. I will not call anybody out, but there's a couple of ladies that, I mean, God bless them for doing it, but you know, it's like, as Gary Vee says, you should maybe look at what you are comfortable with and what you're good at. Or as we were watching a show last night and says, yeah, you got a great face for radio. Not that I mean, look at me. I'm in the same sweatshirt every time I talk to you. I don't really care about that. It's just, I don't mind sharing stuff with you. And I said that to Cynthia. I said, I'm a little worried I share too much. She's like, no, you should vlog more, get out in the community. And so I might think about doing that a little bit as well. But lots of changes, lots of stuff that will be changing in the new year. So it's kind of exciting. And I said that to Pius last night. I said, you know what? We have 2 weeks left-ish in 2023. It's been a big year. It's been a tough year. For me personally, I think Pius has had a struggle just kind of adapting to me being quite a different lady in my own house than I was in his house before we moved back down here. But I am determined that I am going to have a different attitude this coming year. That's my New Year's resolution. We are going to be in this house. This is going to be our base no matter what. The idea of selling and all this kind of stuff, I would love to do it, but it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for a whole bunch of reasons. I do feel that at some point we will be keeping this shed. Can I take you off the thing? We will be keeping this shed, but we will be getting rid of that one. We're going to pull it down and we're going to double the length. So this deck will be 3/4 gone and it'll be a little wider because you can see there's quite a gap between my house and the shed. But that shed was here when I bought the house. This shed was not. There was, look at all this stuff. So there are some, whenever we get to it is whenever we get to it. Pius, when he retires, he wants to do some woodworking. And I think that space will probably be where he does that. This is working out beautifully for me. I think what we would probably do is have a little bit of storage space for me in there. Because it's probably going to be, I would say, a 10 by 20 or a 12 by 20. So even if I got like a 5x3. I don't know, like almost like just a closet at the back where I could just, store some shipping supplies or whatever. I think that would probably work for me. I think. Because ideally what I'd really love is for us to get our spare room back. And not that I am desperate for anybody to come and stay, because that means I got to entertain. And we've just decided that I am shit at it and I don't want to do it. So anyway, I've got my clients today. This is my last visit with them until the new year. I'm not sure where we're going. And Pius is studying for his AZ rewrite of his license. I guess every 3 years or something he has to do that. His birthday is this week, so he needs to get cracking with that. We were going to go to the falls. We've decided not to. We're going to save that money and maybe go away somewhere next year. We never really had a honeymoon. I mean, we were in the East Coast and it was wonderful and blah, blah, blah. But all we did was drive. We drove there. We drove home. We had the van. We did our trip. That was supposed to be a 3-day kind of respite for Pius. All the driving he did, it ended up being a shit show. But it did end up that we bought the trailer, which is now a shit show. But welcome to Murrayland. So, wow. So that is it. Nails are... Yeah, I had a few injuries this weekend. Still trying to figure it out. I experimented with some different colors. I do not like that one. This one's kind of a clear color. I like the white. I do like the white because I'm getting old and apparently I'm not supposed to use dark nail polishes. 56 soon, people. 56 soon. So that is it. It is a beautiful day in our neighborhood. Not. I am in here still rummaging around my ideas for pricing. I'm going to do some final calculations. I'm watching some YouTube videos on pricing. I finally found some YouTube videos that pertain to Etsy vintage sellers. There is so much guidance out there for makers. Not a lot for vintage sellers at all. Maybe I should do a video about that, about my Etsy experience. But my Etsy experience was a little bit different because I started Etsy during COVID. And I got very romanced by a huge audience right out of the gate. But I'm listening to some of these videos. And I mean, sometimes too much research. Please, we're 22 minutes in. If you're still with me, I'm going to leave you with this. If you are interested in doing anything, side hustle-ish, whatever, don't think about it too much. By all means, do your due diligence, but don't research it to the point where you scare yourself out of doing it. And that's kind of what I am recognizing that I could have done with Etsy. There are so many different people. Like I sold a bag over the weekend and I guess I sold it as a result of their own marketing experience or their own marketing efforts. So for that, you pay 12%. Plus what you would pay normally. So I sold a bag and it was like $72 or something. And I got $22 from it. So you've got to be very careful, how this lady I'm listening to now is talking about ads. She did a whole bunch of ads when she first opened her store and ended up not making much of anything. And it is what it is. These platforms have fees. I don't think Etsy's fees are that bad. eBay's fees are crazy pants. Poshmark, holy shit. You are getting a ready-made audience. And you got to pay for that. I mean, Shopify has a cart system, which I pay for. Etsy has a cart system I pay for. But I mean, look at what I've just found out, the payment plan. It's only a 2-month window, which that's fine. Nobody wants payments forever. It's just if you see a little something that you think, shit, I can't quite do it now, but I don't want somebody else to buy it, then you take a couple of months to pay for it, and then you're done and you can move on. So anyway, the key point is don't educate yourself out of doing what it is you want to do. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Bye, everybody.